Welcome to the PR Maven Podcast, a podcast all about growing your network and building your brand through traditional and digital networking techniques. I'm Nancy Marshall, the PR Maven and CEO of Marshall Communications. I've been strengthening brands through PR for over 35 years, and now I'm celebrating the success of executives, influencers, business owners, and entrepreneurs from all around the world, all of whom have cultivated their brands and broadened their networks through traditional and digital networking methods. Each week, I interview one of these interesting and influential individuals and provide an opportunity for you, the PR Maven Nation, to gain insights from their strategies and stories. So stay tuned for this week's episode, and thanks for listening. I'm Nancy Marshall, the PR Maven, and welcome to the final edition of the PR Maven Podcast. I'm sad to announce that we're going to be ending the podcast, but I'm grateful to all of the amazing guests and our listeners and the thought-provoking conversations and the laughter that we have shared after nearly 6 years of podcasting. And you know, most podcasts don't go for 6 years, so I'm proud that we stuck it out for that long. In this episode, I want to take a look back at some of the highlights of the PR Maven podcast. The first episode was launched on September 13th of 2018, and this finale episode is launching August 13th, 2024. So that's exactly 5 years and 11 months later. You know, I had gone to a conference at Disney about becoming a thought leader or an authority in your field through content marketing. And I got so jazzed up. I was like motivated like you wouldn't believe. And I created this written plan. I should look and see if I have it somewhere, but it was like all the ways I was going to establish my authority in the field of public relations and personal branding. And I feel like I've accomplished that in the past 6 years. And of course, I know we need to keep going, and we will be continuing with something that will be announced in the near future. So you haven't seen the end of me. And over those nearly 6 years, believe it or not, we had 192 different guests. And actually, it's so funny because just the past few weeks, I've had many people say they still want to be a guest. So again, we'll have to do some other kind of a show, and more news on that coming soon. We've awarded 5 Golden Microphone Awards to the most popular guests for each year. So Tim Cotton of the Bangor Police Department, he was episode number 36, and I encourage you to listen to that one because that episode is actually our most popular of all time. So he was not only the most popular of the first year, but the most popular of the whole nearly 6 years. Then Carl Strand, who's the general manager and president of Sugarloaf, he's in episode number 104. He was the most popular of our second year. And Peter Koch of the MEMIC, Maine Employers Mutual Insurance Company, he's in episode 113. Tim Winkler, who's the president of VIP Tires and Service, who's a client of ours, episode number 172. And Bob Schultz, who's the president of Puritan Medical Products, he's episode number 210. I encourage you to go back and listen to those episodes again. But yes, as I said, the most popular episode ever was Tim Cotton, episode number 36. I'm very proud that in these nearly 6 years, we were named to the top 10 list of personal branding podcasts by FeedSpot in 2019, and the best podcasts for PR professionals list by Podchaser in 2020, and the top 5 PR podcasts in America by the Maine Public Relations Council in 2021. We also won the gold in the video and podcast category of the Golden Arrow Awards from the Maine Public Relations Council at the 2020 virtual MPRC Awards ceremony held on February 24, 2021. We also have had some very loyal fans, some who have become good friends of mine, like Tate Sandrock of Noblesboro, Maine, who actually became my pen pal at the beginning of the pandemic, and we're still writing letters back and forth today. Also, Gary Chalk of Ontario in Canada is my top Canadian listener. And then we also have many, many others who have listened faithfully and given me feedback that has been invaluable. And I want to thank all those people. But we've decided to put the microphone down now and look at some other ways of communicating and sharing our expertise and authority. We're not sure exactly when that's going to be, but please stay involved with PR Maven Nation on Facebook, and that's where we'll be making announcements. All of the episodes will be still available on marshallpr.com/prmaven/podcast and on your favorite podcast players. So I encourage you to go back and listen to any episodes. And please, if you want to contact me directly, feel free to email me at nancy@prmaven.com. Thank you for all your support through 282 episodes. I also want to give a shout out to Emma Quinlan, who has been producing my podcast and taking care of all of the minute details that I don't want to deal with. And she has done a beautiful job of that. And she was Emma Dimmick until recently when she married her wonderful husband, Hunter. And so now she is Emma Quinlan. So thank you, Emma. I'm grateful to have had such amazing listeners, and I've gotten to know so many of you online and in person because of the podcast. And who knows, maybe someday you'll see me on the Today Show. I'd love to take Hoda Kotb's place on the Today Show. Just saying. In any case, I hope you have a great day, PR Maven in PR Maven Nation, and thank you for your listenership.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the PR Maven Podcast. I invite you to share a review of the podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also join the PR Maven Nation on Facebook. It's free to join, and it's a great community of like-minded individuals who are all looking to learn and grow from one another. If you use an Alexa device, use your Alexa app to search the skills and games section to find and enable the PR Maven Podcast Flash Briefing. This will give you access to exclusive content and more PR and marketing advice. Thanks again for listening, and have a great rest of your week, PR Maven Nation.